Crabs.
Okay.
Stop
That was like, you're on live. They didn't catch that.
Well, hi, good evening. Welcome to Mystic Mamas Live.
Hello.
With Beth and Wendy.
Maggie.
And tonight, our lovely Maggie.
She's usually on the other side.
Yeah.
We always hear her giggling and supporting us. And tonight she's over here.
Yes.
So welcome, Maggie, on this side of the camera.
Yes.
Super excited to have you. This is going to be a great episode tonight. This is titled Unlearning Survival, Relearning Life with Miss Maggie. And again, this is on our the series of religious trauma and just having different people and just their experience. And tonight she's over here. Ooh, that was weird. Who was that? Lena over there. Lena's in the house.
Lena. Messing everything up.
Making sure that we're live because, man, last week was crazy. But super excited to be on this schedule. We are going to go every other week from this schedule.
It
which
works.
I'm excited about.
It just works for everyone.
Yeah, I don't have my kids. It just is better. But tonight we are continuing on that the series, and Miss Maggie is here. Very excited. I feel like Maggie, you're in this part of your journey, very fresh and what I consider one of the top layers of the onion. But really quick, I do want to give a trigger warning that this is very sensitive. And for some of the discussion is going to be about the loss of a parent. There's religious trauma, emotional abuse, and these can be very triggering. So please listen to yourself. If you need to pause the video or step out of it completely, please listen to yourself. We completely understand. But yes, so we've got a lot, and that just shows how much is in this episode. So super excited and really cool. This
is my niece, my sister's oldest. I remember the day she was born, and I remember the day I found out that you were going to be born, and her mommy is my sister. My sister passed away, my goodness, 15 years ago? Yeah.
How old were you when she passed?
5.
She was 5 years old. Man, I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah. And it's weird. I lose track of. I just don't try to. I try not to think about reunions or anniversaries or what. Not reunions, anniversaries, that much because it can kind of bog your life down a little bit, Yeah. But Maggie is. She made me an aunt. She's been a wild ride ever since she was born. She's funny. She's full of personality.
Yes.
Beautiful, just a beautiful being, a total Taurus. And for all of you fanboys out there, she was born on May 4th. So the force is strong in this one.
Yes.
But I thought it would, Maggie was, after my sister passed away, Maggie moved in with her adopted father and her stepmother, and they raised her. I would see Maggie off and on. We ended up getting visitation with her and her little brother. His name's Gabriel. And after a while, Maggie felt that she wanted to leave, and she came and lived with myself and our family, my mother and all of us. I have quite the crew at my house, so Maggie came and joined it, and I will allow her to fill in all the spaces, but this is my beautiful, amazing niece, and I'm so proud of her for coming on tonight to share her story.
Maggie.
Yes.
So
She's
gonna be so good. She's got a good one.
Yeah. So to start in, why don't you share just a little background? Just share. You can fill in the blanks of everything I said about your early childhood.
Okay.
Talk about your little brother, Gabriel, who I bet would just love for you to talk about him.
In detail.
So yeah, I'm Maggie. I have a little boy, Bentley. He has all kinds of names, but he goes by Monka half the time. I'm engaged to my fiance Gabe, and we just live our little life. And so yeah, just getting into my childhood. So when I was 5, my mom did die. I actually have a biological father. I guess I can start there. So I have a biological father, and he gave us his.
Do you want me to start this might help you out a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. So, Maggie's father, he checked out kind of early on, her biological father, and he gave rights up to her adopted father. My sister was dating him at the time. No, they were married when he actually adopted you, but he was there for Maggie. He was wonderful. My sister and her, your adopted father, split up. And my sister just she was wild and she was full of a lot of personality. And Maggie had a little bit of a rough childhood at my sister's house also.
Yeah.
Maggie spent a lot of time with us, my mom and us. And not that my sister was a horrible mom, but I think that that was the best that she could do at the time.
Yeah.
And my sister ended up passing away tragically, and Maggie went and lived with her adopted father and her stepmother.
Yeah.
They were religious.
Yes.
Yes. And also you have a little brother, Gabriel, who is a couple years younger than you.
Yes, about 2.
Yeah, so he was about 3 when Mommy passed away. So this was very rough on them. They got they had a little bit of a rough upbringing anyway. And then to suffer the loss of a parent, kind of rocked things a little further. And then she, so that kind of threw you into a different life.
Yeah.
Very different from what you were living.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Like,
Yeah.
almost, I would even use the word culture shock a few times because that is such a different environment going from, I would say, a rough life, like things weren't very easy, to a very strict like life. Like religion wasn't really included when I was younger until I got to live with my adopted father and stepmom. And then my stepmom's Pentecostal, so that's what we grew up in. So that kind of shaped how I grew up. Like, holidays were very, very big deals. And I mean, it's still a big deal to me. I still identify as Christian, just not so much Pentecostal. I have left the Pentecostal church, but
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later. What would you say the losing a parent like that at such an early age, how would you say that impacted how you were being raised by your adopted father and stepmom?
yeah, so like my mom died when I was 5, and I didn't really understand until like a few years later that like I didn't have a mom. Like, I did not have a real mom like most kids. And there's always been that like void. And I had a stepmom, but that there's something about your biological, like who you came from. And I've always felt like that has been missing. I've always struggled with that. And all the kids I went to school with, everybody had like a real mom, and like kids had stepmoms and stuff like that. But like, I just didn't know, I didn't have both my real parents. So like, I always grew up wondering what that would be like, because all the kids, at school I grew up with, like, they had their biological parents. And me and my brother just kind of like bonded over that. Like, we just knew what it was like to have a dead mom. Like, like, sorry.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, it does. Like, it's so like, it does sound really bad. And that's like the thing that like when you bond over that, like, you have like no sense of like how bad it sounds, I guess. Like,
Well,
it's
in
like a
our
trauma
family,
bond.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
In our family, this is we don't laugh or cry, so
Right.
there's a lot of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I get it. I'm probably the reason why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
But
It's Beth's fault.
it's my fault. So, do you feel that this had a huge impact, like losing your mother? Let's take away all the rest of, we're just setting the foundation of where your trauma kind of started.
Yeah.
And do you feel that losing your mom had a heavy impact on your brother also?
Yeah. Yeah, he struggled with it, and I think he still struggles with it way more than I ever did. Like, I just never really understood it, that like I never, like, we had a dead parent, but Gabriel has, like, I think a lot of survivor's guilt, because I remember things, and like he was too young to have memory, so I do know that, like,
It's sad
impacted
because
him
he was really, she was, not that she wasn't close to you, but she was
really close. He was a
very
mommy's
close.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sad that he doesn't remember that.
Yeah.
So what was life like when you like grew up in the religious? Like, how did you know? Like, what was that? Like, what was your childhood growing up in the church like then?
Honestly, until I got to be a high schooler, it was so fun. Like,
Yeah.
we just had Sunday school, and we had VBS, and we had children. Like, we were always doing the plays. Like, me and Gabriel loved to do that. Like, the theater plays they had, like the Christmas stuff. Like, we was always acting in it, getting like the bigger roles. Like, it was so fun growing up. I mean, from a kid's perspective, it's, and once you, I think too, like growing up Pentecostal, it didn't really, like, they're pretty loud with their worship, I would say, and they're very expressive. And I was just like, I was used to that. So,
and you are.
yeah, and I'm a loud person too. So like, it just kind of fit, and I was used to it. And like growing up in that, like most kids are like it scares them, like truly. And like it never scared us. We grew up with that. My grandparents, my stepmom, her parents, so my grandparents, they were Pentecostal pastors. So like every Thanksgiving, like we got prayed down, we got blessed, like it was normal for us. And Christmas like was so great. Easter was so great. We got dressed up. Like it was just so much fun. And so as a kid it was fun, but getting into like high school, and then I grew up in a Christian academy too. So I mean, my world was the church. So I mean, I didn't know anything different. And I mean, people that didn't go to church, like I genuinely thought you was going to hell my whole life because you just didn't go to church. You didn't believe like I did. And like every Sunday I would pray for my aunt. Like I'm so for real. I would pray for you, like, because yeah, I mean, that was what I was taught. And then I was really, really heavy into the church as a teenager. There were some things that like speaking in tongues, I didn't like get the gift for a long time. And I chased after it so hard. And I was like in discipleship, which is like one-on-one with a pastor to like grow your walk and your faith, but also like build you up to be a disciple. And I was like really heavy into that for a while, and I did choir. So I was really plugged in. Like my whole entire life, like we was going to like Tommy Bates is a pastor, and he's really well known. He's a great pastor. I love Tommy. He has these huge conferences, and like as a youth, like this was like the thing. But so I was really plugged in growing up. It was really fun until
was it. So, do you feel that church was an escape to the religious stronghold that was on you at home?
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say religious stronghold. I would probably say some of the contradictions that you would learn at church. Did you feel that they were used against you when you were at home?
Yeah.
So what would that, how would you feel that while you loved church, you loved the fellowships and community, do you feel that you loved it because it was an escapism from the some of the things that you suffered at home?
Yeah, definitely. Like,
would you want to talk about when you started noticing how religion was being used against you at home?
Yeah, I guess anytime I did something wrong or got in trouble, it pretty much got brought to my pastors at the time so they could help. I feel like it was a form of humiliation personally. But anytime I would like sin or mess up, small or big, it was like get thrown in an altar and like pray it out pretty much. And like that, I like it was scare like it scares me. Like it scared me a lot because every time like I was always just scared of like going to hell and God because it's like every time I got to church, I was always like, I'm getting thrown in an altar. Like I was like in trouble, and like everybody around me saw it too. People knew, and yeah.
What kind of things would get you thrown to the altar? I guess is that what
so many.
It sounds so awful. It sounds like throwing someone
like
to the
got
tiger.
thrown in the slam, or
I mean, it's from it was from like simply like back talking or like getting caught vaping nicotine. So I mean, it really did vary. Like there's a few times, like definitely I got in trouble. I mean, I don't think it should have been brought to like the attention of the church and the people, but yeah, I mean, it was things that you don't just like publicly humiliate your kids for.
full of control.
It
man.
was.
Oof.
It was. Do you feel that your parents? Do you feel that they practice the spare the rod, spoil the child?
Yeah, that was an issue for a while. I guess I won't get too deep because these are my family and I do love these people, even though like we may not have a relationship at this moment. I don't want to say anything like air anything personally, but there was an issue with just harsh punishing, and that's what they believe. That's what Pentecostal believed of. So that's genuinely what they thought was appropriate.
And not all Pentecostal. I was raised Pentecostal also, and by any means, my parents never they never beat me. I think I actually received a spanking maybe 5 times.
Yeah,
but I do know that a lot. Well, and it's not just Pentecostal; it is across the board in Christianity. It's very prominent, and so I don't want to just call out the Pentecostal. Like
right? Yeah, not specifically. That can go like general, like yeah, but I do know that it is like a well taught thing though to, no gentle parenting. Yeah.
Yes. So when did you start realizing that you were starting to operate just in a survival mode? When you started, no matter what you were, even if you had to lie, you would have to, like you were constant. When did you start noticing you were just constantly in a state of, I just have to survive.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get thrown to the altar.
Yeah. It was the moment where from when the school day started to end, I just would get sick to my stomach. Like, I don't want to go home. And like the bus ride home, it sucked. So that's when I just started to realize like, this is not. And then I was just so scared of just like always messing up, doing anything wrong, like anything, and just being like, it's just like, I can't explain. I can't even put into words, like kind of, you just like walk on eggshells. And like at church, like it would be like an escape. Also, it was like, you don't want to get looked at by one of the pastors, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew I was going to get called out for something, even if I did nothing sometimes.
They were trying to make you invisible.
Yeah. How did you feel about some of the things that you were told that, for example, that your mother was in hell, and being told that in church?
Oh, dang. They told you your mother was in hell?
She was demonic. She was bad.
Yeah, I actually grew up literally hating my mom. Like, I did not, like, I thought she was in hell, and that I genuinely believed my whole life she was in hell, and just, like, looking up at me, just, like, hating everything, and like I knew like my whole life that I was going to see my mom when I went to heaven. So like I grew up hating her because I'm like I couldn't understand. Okay, obviously I'm a parent now and I'm in my 20s and she was in her 20s and she had 2 kids very young. So like she's not a bad mom. She is not a bad mom. I know her struggles, and I was told like they just made her out to be such a terrible person. Can you repeat the question? I got off track. Sorry. But no, for real.
No, but that's what I wanted to touch in on was how you were already struggling with the death of a mom and being alone without your mom, but how they had compounded this idea that your mom wasn't a good person.
I grew up,
that she was in hell, and
by association, anytime I bet you acted up, they're like, there's
and that's
the
how
mother.
it was.
Yes,
She was
that
compared
happened a lot.
to her
Yes,
mom.
I was, and like and obviously in the most negative way. It was not a good comparison. It wasn't like even down to like looks, features. Like it was not a good thing if I was compared to my mom. So I grew up with such a negative image of her until honestly I moved out and like started to really learn about my mom, and she wasn't like this crazy like strung out drug addict. She
looks just exactly like her mom, and the thing is Maggie is also part Panamanian, and she has these dark features, beautiful features, but completely opposite than the people that were raising her. They were blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
So she always looked opposite, and you were reminded of how blue eyes are prettier.
Yeah.
Blonde hair
and
is
brown
prettier.
eyes are poop.
I mean, but to be fair, we used to always have a joke in our house, like with my grandma, that if my sister had brown eyes or my aunt, they'd be like, "Your eyes are brown because you're full of poop."
Yeah.
And your eyes are green because you're like half full of poop. So I mean, that was kind of a joke that went around our house too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were they joking.
Do you feel like they were serious about it? Saying that?
Okay.
Maybe
yeah, I mean,
not the full of poop.
I mean, if I like
you weren't
brown eyes,
attractive.
like, yeah, my stepmom did not really like brown eyes. She like they all have blue eyes and they're beautiful. They're beautiful blue eyes. So like, I mean, if I had blue eyes, I probably wouldn't like brown eyes either. So
I have blue eyes, and I don't like brown. I'm just kidding. Beautiful brown eyes, but at any rate, I think that it kind of it's bringing the focus a little more off of how religion, not that religion is bad, but when religion is put in the hands of certain people, it is used as a tool to control and to torment in some cases. And these are things that you and your brother have had to suffer through. And one of them is thinking that their mother was in hell. And by the way, my sister was not this crazy drug addict or anything by any means, but due to some of the company she kept, it was a very rough. It was rough sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes.
Yeah.
But at any rate, to feel like I feel that you felt that you had to pay for the sins of your mom sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
I've like always lived under the like, what would you say, like
Scrutiny
of my mom, like for real, like any step I took. Me and my mom are so much alike, and it's so crazy because I like never grew up with her, but we're so much alike, and I do know that scared my parents, like especially my dad, and things we're going through recently. Like I know they think I'm exactly like that, and I'm not. I am my own person. But yeah, I just like grew up like paying pretty much for. Yeah.
Do you feel that this type when they would use religion as a tool to punish you and use it against you? Did you ever find yourself starting to reject religion, rejecting God?
No, not until I I never rejected God because I always knew God never did anything to me, and that they taught that so heavily in the church that I even knew that. Like I knew it was the church. It was church hurt. It was people hurt. Like I knew God did not do anything, but I did always struggle with like when I would have my days of suffering. I would just be like, God, how are you letting me go through this? Like I try so hard. I like do you not hear me? Like how can you let your people go through some of these things I'm going through? But no, I knew very well that it was definitely church hurt and people hurt. So I never really rejected God. And I want to say I'm on this weird, just in this weird place on my path right now. And I wouldn't say I'm rejecting God at all. But I do have just trouble talking to him now. And this is the first time I've ever experienced this. So this is very new to me because I've always been pray every day, talk to God every day, devotional every day. Like for real. Very strict.
All that stuff sounds like they scripted out how you would do these things and how you would talk to him. And now that you're getting away from a certain denomination, maybe you're having the trouble finding your own voice and how you want to talk to him.
Yeah, definitely, because the way the denomination I grew up in is so much different than like a non-denominational. So trying to find my own path and my own way to connect with God right now has definitely been like,
you're just like in a valley right now.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's like your way to, and I feel like when you start asking, like I feel like you're on that journey of, again, that first layer.
Yeah.
Like you're just now like taking a look back to see if this is even what you believe. And I still believe that you like in like conversation, like you're somebody who believes in the rapture. You're somebody like I've been there. Like I was a part of the evangelical, like Pentecostal sold my I was committed, lived in a house, but it's also one of the best times of my life because I learned so much there about where my own truth was because I was able to know what I did not. Like I learned a lot though. And I feel like you're on that place right now because you still believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
You still believe in a rapture. You still believe in the second coming of Jesus.
I'm like 1 foot in Pentecostal, like 1 foot like in like a non-denomination. I truly don't believe I'll I guess unravel some of those parts about myself that I grew up, like the Pentecostal worship. I love everything about it still. It is their stuff is so beautiful.
I love their music. Like the music is
I love it, and I'm always just that's where I found God the most and connected and talked with him was definitely through the worship. And that's when I the first few times I've ever just connected with God so deep was through Pentecostal worship. That'll always be my heart. But I mean, it's that some of the teachings I just trying to unlearn some of the things. It's just
So when did you can we tell the story of when you decided to leave and what you did?
Yeah. So I was I was about to turn 18 and I had this plan for a while. I knew I wanted to leave when I turned 18, and it was in junior year. May 4th is my birthday, so May 5th I left a note on my dresser saying that this is completely illegal. Because my parents were telling me it's not legal to leave the house until I was 21. No.
So if you disobeyed,
I would get the cops called on me and unruly children or unruly child.
Plus, it was a sin to disobey.
Oh my God, yes. That was yes. So I wrote a letter out saying I'm leaving. Over a span of weeks, I was packing bags and bringing it. I had this all planned out.
Sneaking a bag out at a time.
And I didn't grab any sneakers, all heels. I don't know what I was thinking.
That's a torture.
I was
You're
I need my
18.
Jimmy shoes. It was so bad. But
so you had already talk about having a plan though. I mean, I didn't know how much she had gone through, but she had already talked to her counselor. She had changed her address, and everything ready to
took
go.
my parents off everything because I was 18. It was legal.
You got all your ducks in a row before.
I did. I talked to officers about it just to make sure I knew everything. Nothing could come back on me. I was this. I was going to escape. And she picked me up from school that day, and I texted my parents. There's a note on my dresser explaining everything. Block. and
I felt like I was harboring a fugitive
the anxiety.
because she was like constantly looking behind us.
I thought police were on the
following
way.
us.
I thought police were on the way.
Yeah,
But and then my parents were really chill about it. They're like, okay, this is what you want. So it all worked out. I did not have a relationship with them for a year, and then we got back in touch when I had my little man, and things were good for a while, but we're no longer talking because me, like, leaving things and finding my own path, they just don't agree with my lifestyle, and they want to protect their kids from that because they truly believe
well, you had a little. I don't know if anybody can understand this, but a lot of times when someone's raised in this restrictive household where you are, you're under lock and key all the time, and when you are given the least bit of freedom, you go wild. And not to compare you to your mother, but she is her mother's child. You cannot cage a wild animal. So the second she was, I'm not sure.
No,
But the second she was released,
the whole year was just.
I was trying to, I was letting her explore and everything. And we just got to a point where it was a little much, and you were put on
House arrest.
and house arrest. Yeah, she should have stayed home for a while, but that was fine.
It literally went insane, guys. I hated it. I was like crying every day. I was crashing out. I was like, I'm 18. I'm legally allowed to leave. I was freaking out. But it was actually for the better good because after that, I met my fiance and settled down like a lot. And we're like wifey and mommy now. So like it did what it needed to do. I needed that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that I can, just put you on house arrest and straighten you out. But yeah, like it wasn't like awful. It was just like,
no, it wasn't awful.
You're not going anywhere for a while. Okay, so back to
life, back to reality. Sorry.
So how do you so when you did like kind of break free, when you did break free and before you found your fiance and everything, what was do you feel that the struggle was just you didn't know who you were?
Yeah, I was hanging out with all kinds of friends, trying to just fit in, just do it all. Like, I'm just one of those people who love to try it all, and I couldn't do any of that. The worst I did was like vape, and that was like the biggest thing ever. So I was just not hanging out with the right people. So yeah.
I remember you going back to, like, after you had the baby, going kind of back into that lifestyle a little bit. And, like, what do you think was the biggest eye opener to make you want to turn back around? Like I said, you even said that you went back into being, like, you had left them as a teenager, and then you had the baby, and you went back into your...
The church was so much different than I ever remembered it. I even was like going in and out every now and then after I left to the Pentecostal church, like after like I moved out, and we came back and we were getting like back involved at the church, and I just saw everything differently. And I honestly was the moment when I realized that kids were scared. Like, this newer family came to the service, and it was a rowdy service, and these kids were like freaking out. And I was like, I never realized that. And I was like, this is like scary. Like, this is their image of what church is, what God is. And then I started like the teachings, I started not like agreeing with them, like just leaving. Like, seriously, it's a culture shock. Like, I had no idea about the real world leaving the church. So I was like, just like,
so
now,
once your eyes were opened, you're like, I can't go. Like, you're going back to see it, and now you can, like, it's like somebody turned the lights on and the little cockroaches are like, now all of a sudden it's like right there in your face.
Yes. And like some of the things that was happening in the church. I was like,
Yeah, so isn't there like some major scandal, like even in the
so
church
that's
right
the other.
now?
Yeah, so this is just the church that she was going to. This doesn't
There's-
represent
yeah.
all
No,
Pentecostal
yeah,
churches.
no, but this is like
yes.
that church. And this is
There's-
why you
yeah.
were leaving this area.
yeah, there's some things that happen in the church that I don't agree with, that they're just kind of getting away with, and I'm just kind of baffled. I'm so glad I like just has left that community, because I know if I was in it, I would be supporting some of this stuff, and some of this stuff is like my trauma as a kid, and watching it unfold exactly how it was unfolding for me as a kid has brought up so much trauma.
Would you
And
want to? If you don't want to, it's okay. Would you want to give a few of the traumas that happened to you that are not necessarily looked down upon in this specific church that you go to? Some of the punishments that you received as a kid.
I don't know if I'm gonna go too much into it.
It was physical, though. It was
Yes,
physical abuse.
yes, it was physical abuse, and like and it was also like sexual abuse in the church from a bit. Like this was
Not
before,
at your not
yes.
at your house, but
not at my house. At the first church we like went to, a youth boy had raped me in my own closet at my home, and
Oh my gosh, Maggie, I'm so
my
sorry.
stepmom continued to be friends with the mother of this kid, and they blamed me for being a promiscuous 12-year-old when the boy was
There's
16.
that beloved Jezebel spirit.
Yeah, so I was Jezebel, literally got called
Mhm.
Jezebel, and
Oh no.
I literally was so innocent, like I had no idea really what was happening.
Well, how
so,
could you? You were a baby.
Yeah,
Like, how do you have Jezebel spirit when you were a baby?
yeah. So that was my first experience of people hurt, church hurt. That's where my trauma started, in the church. And then we had moved churches, like it was like starting a brand new life, and we got really plugged in at this church. And this is the church I was currently going to that I had just recently left. But yeah, all that happened. The abuse happened in that church when I was the first church. It stopped when I was like 14, so it never affect like our time at this church. Like nobody like knew about anything. I don't think anybody knows about anything that really I grew up with. So that was also like something I grew up with, not having a voice in this church. I had a few close people, but
they would even turn on you eventually.
yeah. So all my trust in people at church had just fallen through at the end. And when I left, like that really just kind of like burned the bridge. And especially recently, completely, I know bridges are burned. With everything with me and my parents, it's just everybody knows everything, very just out there. Yeah.
Do you have a desire to have a relationship with them? Do you feel?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that a lot of the times when you were growing up, and I think that you constantly just tried to, you had abandonment issues, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean.
And and then to grow up with your mother passed away, your biological father.
Which I did not know about my whole entire life. I genuinely, like, I was told, like, that my adopted father, like, was my father. And I always knew I looked different, but I just made it was like, he has brown hair, I have brown hair. But when I found out I had another father, I all I saw was I got on my dad's phone and was snooping on it, and it said, I'm going to tell Maggie she's adopted. I thought I was Annie from the orphanage. I was like, oh my God, I really believe, I was like, no. So I kept it a secret.
Wow, that's like trauma. Like, I mean, like,
And
the
it gets-
layers here, man.
And it gets worse. We went to Uncle Billy's funeral,
But
and
wait. There's more.
for real, I cracked it to Mama. I was like, Mama.
Mammal's my mom. Yeah.
And she's already a wreck from losing her brother, like one of her closest brothers. And Mama was already just having a hard time. And I like cracked it to her in the car. I was like, am I adopted? And she like literally that was swerved off the road. And she was like, you're going to have to talk to your parents about this, but I will say your mom did not adopt you. That is your real mommy. So I was like, okay, things are making sense. Like I kind of put the pieces together. And one night I got in big trouble with my parents one night, and I just like word vomited it out, and they just kind of sat me down and explained everything. As a parent, I still don't understand keeping that. I don't know why that happened. But I did end up meeting my biological father when I turned 18, and we vibed it out for a few months, and that kind of fell through. Like, I kind of see, like, why he's
Why
like
your
my father.
your mom was totally cool with it.
Is he the one that I told off about the
Yeah.
Taylor Swift?
Yes, they, like, beefed over Taylor Swift on a Facebook post. And she's, like, the most diehard Swiftie, hence the orange.
We are officially in our showgirl era.
Yeah, so, you know, there's many levels of trauma, but
Yes.
the religion compounded everything. I think
Yeah.
I feel for you. And everyone who's watching this is probably like, because it's been kind of like, we keep like releasing another
Yes.
trauma here, and they're like slipping
Trauma
in something
dumping.
else. And yeah. So now that you have your own child and you are you're learning to live life your own way, are you trying to find your own personal relationship with God?
Yes.
With your God?
Yes. Having been
Do you feel,
changed
sorry to
it.
interrupt you, but
No.
the reason why I say this when I say your God is because I feel that the God that was presented to you was a vengeful.
Yeah. Yes. The
You
God
were scared.
I grew up with was a scary God to me. I just was I just really believed I was going to hell every single day. Like nothing. Like I was just always just so bad in His eyes. But God is love, and if you're scared of God and that's, I feel like if you're taught to be like this fear, like you're supposed to like we get taught you should be fearful of God. I feel like when you're taught that way, you see God as a very scary person. That's how I felt. And God is love, and it's that, and they teach that too, that God is love. And Bentley made me feel like true love. Like I love my fiance, he's my true love, but like unconditional love that you just can't even put into words. And that's how God loves us. So growing up, all the things I was taught and feeling towards God, I was like, this isn't love. This cannot be God. This cannot be it. So this is just, it challenged me to who was God to me, and kind of unlearn some of those things of like truly believe that I'm not going to hell. That like that's been one of the biggest things. And
in like understanding as a parent,
yeah.
and knowing that if Bentley made a little mistake, you're not going to banish him to his room.
No,
and
that is like definitely
you
the
love
parenting
them,
is so tied into it.
It was
yes,
for me too.
And I'm completely parenting my child in a completely different way. I mean, it already shows that he's a very good boy and he listens, and it shows you don't have to beat your kids to make them understand that.
He's also only about 7 months.
Yeah, I mean, he's
7 months, so I hope you weren't being beat.
He hasn't grown yet. She hasn't been really tested as a mother.
No, but I love him so much. I just can't imagine doing that though.
No, I get it. I'm just
like,
but the struggle is real when they start walking.
He's almost crawling. I know that's coming soon. But I love it.
So how do you think you're going to raise Bentley? Are you going to...
We want to go to church. We're still very Christian. I want to get him dedicated. These things are important to me, but completely different. I won't push it on him that he needs to read his Bible every single day and pray every single day. It's human to
I would encourage. I feel like the encouragement of just reading the Bible, not in this any way except for just like you read Harry Potter.
Yeah,
you should, no matter what, read the Bible. No matter what faith, because why wouldn't you?
Which I'm
You
like
know?
one of those people, like Christmas is about Jesus. Like we do Santa, we're gonna do Santa, but like Christmas, like I will be teaching him like these things I grew up with too. Just not so much all the beliefs and rules.
I don't think it's going to be used as a punishment.
No, it's not going to be used against him. God, I want to encourage a relationship with him, and that pushing something so negative about like that's he's just going to run for that, and I don't want him to run for that. Run from.
I feel that one of the things that I'm glad that my parents didn't do, like when it came to punishment, when it came to disciplining me as a child, nothing. It was private. It was between, like, my parents didn't run and tell everyone in the family, and I can only imagine if my parents every Sunday went to church and told them about how horrible I was when I was only being a kid.
It's like so
and making
humiliating
kid type, choices.
Yeah.
I mean, it just. My hope is that, and I feel that you'll be this way, is that you're not going to use it in that way.
No. No. There's such a fine line between discipline and punishment. And I am a firm believer in that. Discipline is out of love and punishment is out of wrath.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And I never really understood the term, like, the advice to not punish your child if you're angry.
Yeah.
Until I noticed, having a toddler, that a lot of the times I was just angry.
Mm-hmm.
That these mishaps that my son ended up doing were just putting a wrench in my plans and what I was doing. It really had nothing to do with him, but absolutely.
How do you
feel?
feel?
Kind of heavy.
Good.
Yeah, you feel good about talking it out?
Yeah.
So you're in therapy now, though.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I love my therapist. Shout out to Nikki.
Yeah, I think it's great to I have a hard time sticking with a therapist, but I do think having somebody that's unbiased that can listen to you without that judgment is a great place to be.
I've struggled in therapy my whole life. I've never stuck with one more than a month, but my girl Nikki, she knows what she's doing, and she has helped me so much, especially through all this PTSD coming up lately. We're gonna start EDMR, so
cool.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I heard I've started it, but haven't finished it. I've heard amazing things. It's really good for PTSD.
Yes.
I think it'll be wonderful for you. And
yes.
You have so many levels of
PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
there's so many layers to pull back.
There are.
Yeah.
But you're doing an amazing job, and I know it's not easy. I know it's not. And regardless of where your mother is, but I do not feel your mother is in hell.
No, I don't.
I think that your mother is around. I think that she sees you, and I think she's beyond the moon proud of you. I think she laughs at you a lot. I think that she helps. I just think she's there because if there's anybody who understands the struggle
of the Maggie,
Maggie would have been Sarah. And because this is nature versus nurture at its best. I find myself, I've literally had the same conversations with her that I've had with my sister. We've talked about this. It's been kind of mind blowing, and it's been kind of a karmic cycle for me. And it's been enriching.
Yeah.
I think through you, I've helped. You've helped me heal the loss of my sister, and I hope that being around me is helping get a piece of your mom.
Yeah.
Even if it's through you. Just to let you know, I'm nowhere near as fun as your mother was. So this would have been a much funner ride if she was here. But I'm beyond proud of you, and I'm so happy that you took a chance and came on the podcast instead of sitting, because I'm telling you, Maggie, you are meant for the camera in some way.
I always knew I was going to be famous. We can ask anybody.
Here, let's start this again.
Yeah. No, me and Mama might be on this little documentary commercial for she's had a wild ride. She had a terrible fall and got a really bad wound on her leg, but they might have us on the documentary. And girl, I am ready. I was like, her doctor was like, we were gonna ask you guys immediately. They already knew because I already told them.
And it's about my mom, and Maggie's like, I already know I'm gonna wear it.
This is
Yeah.
my big break.
They think it's about her, but really it's
It's about. It'd be like zoom in.
the unsung hero.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, is there so what's next for the Maggie? And by the way, Maggie used to refer to herself in third person for the first few years of her life. So that's like an if you want to know Maggie, then that is probably the.
And somehow, like, I resorted back to that with having my kid because I talked to him in third person. Like, I don't know. And this came soon. Like, as soon as he came out, like, I was like, are you the mama's little monka? Like, I can't.
It's a form of cuteness aggression where you remove yourself.
Yes. Yes.
It's so funny. We're probably gonna get like emails saying that you've got some kind of like dissociative.
Yeah. DID.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Like what's next? Other than like getting you have a fiance and all that stuff. So are you thinking about going back to school or anything?
Yes, so I do nails. So I'm wanting to go to nail school. So those are my next plans, to go to nail school, get certified, so I can start doing what I love. And it was just it would just be so perfect for my lifestyle too, like just being a stay-at-home mom, because that's just like my heart's desire. But I found this passion for nails, which I used to want to when I was a kid and want to be a nail artist. I used to say it all the time, but I did dental in high school and graduated from that. But yeah, I kind of circled around to like my true passion again.
I'm proud of you.
So do you have any advice for girls that are doing what that are still have a strong faith in God, but have to break free from trauma,
Yes.
religious trauma at home? Do you have
Yes.
any big advice?
Do it, girl. I know you're scared, and it's
Or
gonna
guy,
be,
if it's a guy.
yes, it's a guy too, because this happens to both. But do it, because I know you're scared, and it's gonna be the scariest thing you've ever done. But I promise, it is so worth it in the end. And like, once you just get on the other side of it, the grass is really greener. It takes a lot of bravery, and you're gonna do things you just thought you can never do. But get those boundaries straight, because you can do it.
You're wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank
Maggie.
you for having me.
You're amazing.
Yay.
This is the voice you hear a lot in the background.
And then, sorry for the other episode. We did not know we was hot on the mic, and I was like cackling and like slurping on drinks back there. Like, I couldn't even listen to it. I got like 3 minutes in. I was like, I don't know how y'all watch that episode, because I can't. So sorry about that.
I haven't seen it.
I mixed the microphones up. It was just, we tried something new, and it's just didn't work out as well as I thought it was going to work out. But yeah, so
Well, thank you for being so vulnerable
yes.
with us and giving
Yes.
your story to the world. I feel like that's a huge part of your healing journey, and that's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've always grew up doing testimonies, and like that's where I found a lot of my healing too. Growing up in the church, it was just
Giving that testimony.
Yeah.
Testify.
yes, I'm a testifier.
I think it's funny that she used to pray for me all the time.
Yeah, your soul, because you're going to hell.
Was it because I had black hair?
It's because you smoke weed.
I smoked weed.
The devil's lettuce.
And then when you
That's the
started
devil's lettuce.
doing Reiki and like energy healing,
Yeah,
that
that's-
was like witchcraft. And then when you got here, when you got the mystic life, that was even more the devil's work. But there's no devil's work here. It's all God's work.
And you've met just a wonderful group of women who, and all of us are traumatized. All of us are dealing with PTSD.
Yeah.
And so she was just surrounded by a group of women that made it through to the other side,
Right on.
you know,
Yeah.
and like we're really cool still. And
Yeah.
well, our next podcast, we're going to be continuing this wonderful series, and we're going to be having Donna on. Donna is one of
Love her.
our I met her through when I opened Mystic Life. She started coming to some of our events, and she is amazing.
Yeah.
Her vibe is awesome. She makes
Singer in a band.
Yes,
Yes.
badass.
and every time you leave her presence,
She's
I'm always
magical.
smiling, and I'm like, oh my god, like, yeah,
Mhm.
she's great.
Love her.
She was raised Catholic, I believe.
Okay.
And so she's going to have like just a different point of view,
Yeah.
like everybody we've had on here so far.
Yeah,
and,
just a different story to tell.
Yeah.
The story.
and thank you everyone for listening, and
Yes.
give us a like or a follow.
A like, subscribe down below, hit the bell notifications.
Look at this.
I'm going to like record this, and this is what we're going to
That's
play
what we'll
in the
put on
beginning.
it.
Thanks for watching Mystic Life. Make sure you comment down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button, and give us a like and a share.
Should I cut out now? Okay.
You know, because after all,
Oh.
It's a